My name is Delta, and your life is going to change. You are going to be different, different, different. My name is Delta, and your life is going to change. You are going to be different, different, different. My name is Delta, and your life is going to change. You are going to be different. You are going to be out. You are going to be bigger and larger than ever you imagined it possible. And you know why? Because it's you and I will find the power that's been dormant inside of you all of this time. And all of this time, you were afraid to go out and no longer do that. You shout, you believe the God is you to be the one that everyone comes to and says, hey, look, they're there, the master's there, the teacher there, there's no one that will make my life different. And if I can do that, they never do try to stop it. I'm here to tell you, I'm here to change your life. Your life will no longer be the same. Together, I'm going to conquer the world. And for you know, everything you imagine is possible. Be done possible for one simple reason, and it is possible, possible. My name is Delta, and your life is going to change. You are going to be there, to be there, to be there. My name is Delta, and your life is going to change. You are going to be there, to be there, to be there.
Welcome, everyone, to another show of Uncommon Sense. I appreciate your presence and you being here and keeping me company as we start to explore a facet of life. Whoops, getting that ready. A facet of life that involves living authentically, being true to ourselves, and understanding that even though we are spiritual beings having a particularly singularly unique physical experience, a human experience on this planet, that not two lives are the same. And I take a look with sadness at what's happening in the United States, in Chicago, and home, and I'm so sad. I don't know what to say. How do you, when these folks were brought over from Africa, stolen and kidnapped from their homelands, and then brought to the United States and made into slaves, and then we had the Battle of Gettysburg, we've had so many emancipation teachers along the way, Martin Luther King, and several others who have died. It wasn't just George Floyd. Many, 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 many dozens have died at the hands of police, at the hands of white supremacists, and what have you. But people don't realize, when they say, when some clown I hear shouts at me and says, it's not just Black lives that matter, all lives matter. And I say to this person, yes, all lives matter, but if you are hungry and everybody's hungry at a meal to eat something, and the person who's Black at the end says, but I'm hungry, I don't have anything to eat, just says, well, I'm hungry too, we all are hungry. The difference is that you get to eat and that person doesn't. And that's been the story for the last 100 years plus. There are older folks in Black American folks in the United States who still remember the days of slaves and what they are. And nothing much is that different right now. There is the white privilege and all of that. You see it everywhere. Everyone's guilty of it. Over here, you see the people flocking to the seminars over here, and you take a look at it. And I started in 1991 with a company called the Academy of Success, and it was to help people recognize that you had talent here, that you had to only believe in yourself, and that you could make anything happen. And so the subtext of the Academy of Success, or the byline or the motto, was simply this: unleashing Asia's talent on the world. And my job was to turn all these people into mega forces on the scale of Anthony Robbins and Tom Hopkins. And we had great talent in the world, and not just Singapore, but in other countries around Singapore as well. And so I did that for a time, but it seems like a losing battle because people keep going back to these white masters that come and they charge you $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 for these fake gurus are coming up all over the place, and they're charging you so much, and it's all the same diatribe over and over and over again, over and over again. And so I told people that these people were becoming fabulously wealthy because of you, not for any other reason, not because they say they did this and this and this, became wealthy. No, they created seminars, they created workshops, they created massive talks, and you paid like sheep. You paid a lot of money, $500 for 5,000 people attending one program, and the larger you come, the group is that come to these events, the more money they make, and they walk away, and they always upsell you. You know, if you want to be much more, you can pay $1,000 more, $3,000 more, and so on and so forth. And I was always trying to strike a balance between how much to charge for my courses and what I did. And so I didn't want to teach anything else. I didn't want to teach this bullshit stuff about internet marketing and all these other things, because I'm not like that. But instead, I wanted to teach you a specific skill, an ability to be able to stand on stage, deliver with charisma and conviction and confidence, everything that you stood for, whatever was your message. And I taught teachers to teach, and I taught trainers to train. This is my life. This is, if you sum up everything I do, this is what I do. And that's what I do best. So it's a sort of like a thing that I do on stage to make you a lot better, so that you can start to charge, even if it's $200, $500 a weekend. That's still reasonable, and people can attend and then share with them, and they become your fan base. Some people will steal from you. Yes, this is all over the world, not just in Thailand, not just in Singapore or Japan or Bulgaria. They're everywhere in the world. People will do that. But you also have the good folks that you can always talk to. It's very, very cool. Lawrence, welcome to the show. My mother, Mamji, welcome. Ayusakorn, welcome. Galia, welcome. Sanja, welcome. So as you come on, I wanted to talk about what's happening in the States first, before I start to talk about miracle consciousness and how to have a little bit of miracle consciousness, so that you can live through. Although it's not you turning away from the negatives. You're paying attention to the negatives, but at the same time, you are focused on a path, a solution, instead of delving on the problem and the issues and so on and so forth. So what's happening in the States is long overdue. It's sad that it took the death of a good man to make it evident and clear, but it happened in broad daylight. I don't know what went into the police officer's mind, but I don't know if you know the background of that story as well, because he's married to a Cambodian woman, and that Oriental-looking gentleman in the front there was probably the brother of his wife, and so on and so forth. And there's some talk that she's filing for a divorce and all of that, but that's so that they can escape the paying out on the civil suit and protect their home and everything else. But that's another discussion for another day. I don't want to get into that. I do want to get into the overall picture. What you're looking at, what you're observing, is the first time in history so many events in this last decade alone are inexplicable, have never happened before, and the likes of which you will probably never see again. And there's more coming. This is not the end. The civil unrest. This is Rodney King in Los Angeles multiplied by 100. 17 cities are under siege in the United States. The White House is under siege. I mean, that coward who's there right now is hunkering down, and he holds a Bible in his hand, but he cannot quote a single Bible verse. Talk about sheep and wolf in sheep's clothing. It's really, I don't know. Like, is there a way to remove a sitting president who's a complete moron? I don't know. And for me saying it, I might be banned forever from returning to the United States, but it doesn't matter. The point is, there's massive injustice done to this entire group of people. Not just the Mexicans. I mean, my God, the black people have suffered so much, and they've been so gentle about it, and not in some other areas, not so much. And then now you have the good folks who are peacefully marching for equality. That's all they're asking for, equality, equal chances. And you have the looters who are the criminals, and they should be in jail, those guys. But then again, when you have been poor for so long, you start taking things, and because you're angry with society, you start to break things and so on and so forth. It's like a child. How do you go about, how do you maneuver to this path that is one word that is incendiary and an explosion takes place? So it's very, very difficult to walk this line. You need leadership, real leadership, not a TV, reality TV actor. You need a real person who has been through crunches like this. It's very, very difficult. So my heart goes out to the Black American people, to my friends, a lot of my friends who are in Chicago right now as well, and to Seattle, to Houston, to New York, to everywhere. My children are just about 50 miles north of the city of New York, and they're keeping as safe as they can be. So, and being half white and half my color, they have been exposed to a lot of this racism, and although my daughter looks more white than my color, but my son is very olive skinned, so he has this wonderful ability to blend. When he goes to Bulgaria, everybody thinks he's Bulgarian. When he goes to Mexico, everybody thinks he's Mexican, and in Chicago they can't make head or tail of him. But the difficulty is not so much blending in as it is keeping under the radar of those who would oppress. And if you are taught in school anything, maybe would be under the umbrella of a pedagogy of the oppressed, maybe to pay attention to the fact that Black children have been treated unfairly and grow up thinking that this is a way of life. And white children have been given so many privileges that they expect it. And so you see them here in Singapore as well, pushing their weight around as if they own the country. That once upon a time they did. The colonialists owned this country, and they act like they still do. And in various parts of the world, they act like they're privileged in many different parts of this world as well. And they have very little respect for a lot of the local culture and the local people as well. Krichawat, welcome. Onchard, welcome. Meggie, welcome. My father is watching. Papji, welcome. Maywu, welcome to the studio. So what I wanted to talk about today was when you start to understand that they bleed the same blood, they feel the same pain, and what is the thing that connects all of us is not so much the physiology as it is the psychology. the same needs, the same wants, the same hopes, the same desires, the same dreams, the same problems. Those those who have been married a long time, they have the same problems. Black Americans or white Americans all have the same problems. And marriage is a very tough thing to live with. Growing up with children, getting them to listen to you. We mistake this the whisper that goes through our heads of, my God, am I a bad parent? Am I a bad spouse? And so on and so forth. This is the psychology that links all of us. There isn't a black race or a white race. There is just a human race, and we're struggling to live and understand how we can be learning from each other and supporting each other, because and so people keep thinking, oh, okay, my God is bigger than your God, and my religion is better than your religion, my color is better than your color, my whatever, so on and so forth. This is where the billionaires, millionaires come in and try to help as many people as possible along the way as well, because when this guy shoves this Bible in the air, he doesn't even go into the church. It's all boarded up. Nobody goes there. He just shot tear gas into the crowd, a peaceful crowd, by the way, to disperse them and push them by force out of the way so that he could walk a very short distance from the White House to this church, which is pretty much near the same grounds, just for a photo opportunity, and asking all his other heads of state who come in and do the same photo opportunity with the Bible. I don't think this man knows God, but because to know God without being godlike is like trying to swim without entering the water. So if you want to be godlike, then if you want to know God, then become godlike, because all these people that are suffering in pain on the streets feel their pain, because that's what a divinity that's what a divinity consciousness does. It feels the pain. It sympathizes with everybody that is now in pain. It takes the anger, diffuses it with kindness and not with military force and might. That's the way of the oppressor. That's the way of the dictator. And that's not a democracy. I mean, I saw a joke article that came up, and my son sent it to me. He said Iraq is planning to invade the United States so that they can bring democracy back to the United States. It's a joke from The Onion, which is a newspaper that makes fun of everybody and everything. But at the same time, you have to pay attention to the fact that we've forgotten what the United States stands for. It's no longer united. We are divided, the divided states of America. And so I've spent 40 years of my life there, and I cannot believe what I'm seeing today. It's a war zone. This is the kind of stuff you would see in third world countries. This is where they moved the war to the Middle East, and now they brought it all back on the streets. So a very smart, intelligent leader in charge of everything, and I think Governor Cuomo can probably do a better job than this clown in office, would be able to quell the riots and would be able to bring some semblance of leadership and reform back to the law enforcement authorities and everything else, and so that people can be treated with kindness across cultures, across races and such like. But it's not happening. Margarita, welcome. Shirley, welcome. Charan, welcome. And so let's go forward and talk about this. If you have any thoughts, by the way, of what's happening in the States, and you want to discuss this, and you want to be able to make your thoughts known, please let me know. Oops, where's my... I just disappeared. Let me bring this... I was supposed to bring this down so that I can see who is here. There you go. Let me give you an invite. copy this to clipboard, get rid of it, put it here, and Command V, enter. That's the, I just gave you the connection so that you, if you would like to be on this stream and you'd like to chat with me, please come on board. We started off with no real agenda because we were waylaid by the events of the United States and what's happening in there. And my heart goes out to everybody who's fighting the fight. But you know, we have COVID. It's unprecedented. We have COVID, and everybody is on lockdown for the last 4 to 6 months, right? Everywhere, at least the more sentient governments have been doing that, making sure that everybody wears masks and that we're pretty much isolated and we clean our hands and do whatever we need to do. And so everybody's been forced into their homes and to be comfortable in their homes. You see, the interesting thing about this is that it forced us to become less religious, where we go out and en masse, everybody looks at each other and you have this mob hysteria going on about how they're holier than thou, and so on and so forth. And more spirituality is emerging than religiousness. Religiousness, is that a word? Religiosity, whatever. But the point is, you are becoming less religious and more spiritual. And what does spiritual mean? It means it's an individual relationship between you and a higher force or a higher power. And so at some point, when you spend more time alone and less time socializing and with your friends, you find that you reach a stage of spiritual awakening somehow. Not enlightenment per se, but you are laying the foundation for that. You're laying the foundation to live a life that is both practical and yet at the same time very spiritual. Your mind is there, half your body is on the spiritual side, half your body is on the earth side. So you learn to balance the two. You are in the earth, but you are not of the earth. And so your value systems go extremely high. Your value systems and your beliefs are now about the whole collective, not so much about yourself. So there are 3 stages to spiritual awakening that most people don't know about. And even though spiritual enlightenment is experience that everybody should have or can have, it's actually readily accessible. It's just that a lot of people don't want it. Believe it or not, a lot of people really don't want it. And it can be broken down into 3 stages, depending on your point of view and how things change and how circumstances change as you experience this spiritual awakening. Stage 1, you will experience and understand the actual reality of the things in your environment. And then you become, or you start to feel calmer and more relaxed, and you will find yourself completely in the present moment without any worries about the past or the future. So as a result, what is happening is you will start to pay attention to the fact that you are left without the busy schedules, without all of those things that force you to go out and be busy all the time. You now have time to sit, and you cannot worry about the future. You don't know what it holds. You don't know when the virus will be over. My maid spoke to me today, and she said, you know, when is this virus thing going to be over? I said, I'll tell you this afternoon. She said, how will you know this afternoon? Well, this afternoon, I'll interview the virus and it will tell me when it's going to be finished. And then she walked away, and then she turned back and she had a delayed laugh. Said, you're very funny. I said, yeah, I know. We don't know when it's going to happen. So you start to relax in the present moment because this is all we have. And depending on who comes around to breathe on you, this may be the only moments you have. So you could be dead tomorrow, but you're alive right now. So who knows, you know? You will find yourself really appreciating the fact that you are now here, and here is all you can see, and you are in the now, and now is all you can experience in the present moment. So you cannot really worry about the future so much, except if you die. and the fact that you worry about the past, well, it's finished. There's nothing you can do about it. So it's going to be very, very difficult. Now, in the second stage of spiritual growth or enlightenment, you will find yourself connected to the environment. You'll start to feel a connection with everybody, and we're already seeing that. I mean, it's as if a higher force has given up on us learning on our own and says, you know what, I think there's only one thing that will cause a difference. Not some big being descending out of the sky from the clouds, a tiny little virus that will be, I have one on the shelf behind me, but a tiny little virus that will unite all of humanity. And then you begin to realize that the problems and the pain of the people in the United States, the problems and the pain of the people in Italy, in Bulgaria, in Greece, in South America, everywhere, it's all the same. And then you begin to realize that we're losing their loss in family members are felt just like us as we lose family members as well. So yes, you will feel a connection with all human beings, but also at the same time, you recognize that the animals are now coming out of hiding, and the trees are doing their jobs a little bit better, and the clouds are clearing so much as well, and the air is getting cleaner. So in this juncture, you will feel like your soul is somehow merging with the soul of nature, and you will find happiness in every little thing. And all of those things that you took for granted before, clean air, beautiful clouds, sunshine, rain, even simple thing like rain, you will now appreciate and go, oh my God, this is so beautiful. Even drinking water now becomes a spiritual experience. Now that's in the second stage. So the virus has led us through the first stage and the second stage, isolated us in the first stage, and then the second stage allowed us to connect with everybody. So let me say it again in English. Allowed us to communicate with everybody on this planet and with every living thing on this planet. So what happens in the final stage, the third stage? Well, there you will experience this sudden realization that you are not connected with everything around you, but in reality, you are everything around you. So every little thing you do impacts the persons around you, the people, the communities, the forest, the clouds, everything. So when you begin to realize that, you have to start to think that, hey, wait a minute, something, an unseen hand is in charge of all of this. And even with all of the commotion, even with all of the pain, even with all of the dredging up of this divisive society, black and white in the United States, it's long overdue, and some other higher force is dredging it out and said, and put all of our darks, dirty secrets, the thumbing down of people. the thumbing down of people who are of different color, different race, the economic sanctions unspoken against one racial type or another, the inequality in the United States needed to be addressed. Nothing has changed for 100 years since the big signs everywhere in South Africa was the same as in the United States. One fountain was meant for white and was beautiful. It was wonderful cold water, and another was tap, and it was full for coloreds and everybody else, and so on and so forth. So things have to change, and they are, and that's the exciting part. Scary but exciting part. So how do you keep in line? How do you keep going with this so that you can become more and more enlightened? I'm not suggesting that you will become spiritually enlightened. Some people will take advantage of this opportunity and head towards enlightenment because there's unprecedented. You don't have anything like this in history to turn back to. You don't have anything like this in the future that will make it happen for you. So number one, be honest with yourself. The first of the ways in which to achieve this spiritual enlightenment is to be honest, really be honest because every person trying to obtain spiritual enlightenment doesn't realize that honesty is a big step in this long journey. It's small, but it's crucial. And spiritual awakening is a experience that completely changes your perspective on how you look at things around you, in your environment, with the people around you, your family, everything else. But before you achieve that change, you must have enough strength to be able to look at yourself with honesty and answer, what should you change about yourself? What should you change about your habits? Not just physical habits, but also mental and emotional habits. What are you thinking about most of the day that's causing you suffering and pain? You need to release that. Who are you holding on that grudge to? I hate this, whatever the case might be. And you're holding on to that pain for what? Thinking that they would be hurt somehow by your anger, that you would curse them and they would die? No, 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 no. Just to spite you, they will live longer probably because you're sending them energy. And you need to spend that energy into the direction of people who need it. People who need to be healed, people who need to be loved by you. The people still love you, even though those people that you hate you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Their lives don't impact you as much as the people who are looking forward to your good energy. So instead of hating the past and hating people in the past, why not focus in the future and bless the people who are in your life? And the ones in the past, well, just bless the bastards and let them go. So being true to yourself is a painful process, and many people are very scared to take this step. They need to understand that to transform and change and heal the problems within themselves, they first need to comprehend what their problems are. And sometimes it helps to work with, I hate to say the word, coach. Is there such a thing as a spiritual coach out there? I don't know. I mean, look, before you choose somebody to be your quote unquote guru, teacher, whatever, make sure that if you want to learn happiness from a happiness coach, make sure they're really happy. If you want to learn about staying calm and make sure that they're calm. If you want to learn meditation, make sure that they actually know what they're doing instead of being crazy and so on and so forth. And I hate to say it like this, but if you want to learn Tantra and all these other things and Kundalini raising and all that, also know the dangers of it because it can lead to suicide. And you got to be very, very clear. Clarity is everything. Clarity is power. And when you're very, very clear, then you begin to be a little bit more impactful in everything that you're doing. Vin says, sounds more like a divine law. Which part sounds like divine law? Malinka, welcome. Guek Cheng, welcome. Also, let me know what you mean. Sound more like divine law. The second thing you need to do is to kill your ego. There's no place for egoistic people in enlightened crowds. And there are some people that come together, and there's the pre-enlightened, and then the group going through enlightenment, and then there's the final enlightened group that doesn't group. At that point, they're pretty much individualistic and doing what they're doing and just blessing and healing and taking care of people without much. The part you mentioned about reality sound more like a divine. Yeah, reality. Reality, Vin, is plastic. We view it from several perspectives. We view it from the perspective of what we've been through. We view it from the perspective of what we are about to go through, or we view it from the perspective of what we are going through currently. And it changes at every stage, past, present, and future. The reality, and I told you before in last weeks or the weeks before, that one of the things for opening up your third eye, and one of the what you need to turn, let me say it in English. The reason why you want to open your third eye is you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are. And you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, and you want to see things as they are, not as you are, or not as somebody told you they are. So that way you begin to notice the reality. It may not be as pleasant as you think, because not all facets of reality are pleasant. What's happening in the United States, and the fact that white people now have to be honest with the fact that they've lived with this white privilege. It hasn't hurt them as long as everybody toes the line. And now the black folks are saying, enough is enough. We're no longer slaves. We are free men and free women, and we have emotional, mental, psychological needs the same as everybody else. If the physical opportunities were given to them, then their children don't have to work so much harder to live in a world that was not designed for them to be comfortable. And so that's what they were working for. And yet, that being said, spiritually aware people are actually kind and very caring and down-to-earth people. But if they were like this all their lives, not really. Everybody goes through a growth phase. When we're 15, we're not enlightened. When we're 25, we're not enlightened. At 35, still not. And 45, and so on and so forth. But as time goes by, you begin to hear a calling. As time goes by, you begin to realize that we might not have been enlightened, but everything that happened in our lives have taken us to this level where we are now prepared to go through that phase. So if you ask me, were we enlightened all along, the enlightened people? No, the answer is no. But they managed to kill their ego and step beyond to become greater and achieve eternal happiness. And how did they do it? A shortcut. The shortcut I've been saying to you over and over again: serve. Serve. Now, I say serve and let people know that you serve and that you're here to serve. But again, you do not have to be a servant, because there'll be a lot of people taking advantage of you as well. Your job is not to be stupid. Your job is to be humble. That's your job, to be humble. You have tremendous power. You have your thoughts that will change the world, and the cost effectiveness of your time well spent in serving food to You could pay somebody to do that. You can do that way if you want. But when you do it that way and serve yourself, you begin to realize that that person next to you that has probably 1 million times less money than you have is no different from you. The only thing that separates both of you is how much money you have hoarded in your bank account, thinking that you are safe and thinking that you are happy, and it keeps you happy. And the difference between that person, who might be doing a lot more good in the world than you could ever hope to do in one lifetime. So the ego, the ego, Tibetan for ego. The ego is merely a product of your thoughts and customs of society, how you appear, how you want to save face, things like that. Simple things that happen also, like say that woman, I can't even remember her name, Michelle Sri Baba, not whatever, who entered into a business relationship with me. Again, ethics is everything. And yet, I helped her to lose face by saying what I said. Hey, we have this wonderful deal. After all expenses, you keep 30% and I keep 70%. That's a great deal for anybody. But she chose not to pay, and she comes up with all kinds of bullshit excuses, And I could pursue it, but I don't do that. Why? Because, hey, look, people need examples of a bad relationship not to be in. Well, that's not a good relationship to be in. Try and avoid that. So I'm not asking you, as you serve people, to be stupid. I'm asking you to serve people that need your help. Help people who need help. Encourage people that need your encouragement. Love people that need your love. And the ones who will cause you harm or try to do that with you, or spread whatever rumors about you and all that, just bless the bastards and let them go. That's it. Very simple. So once you kill the ego, you begin to understand being the first to apologize in any situation, like say a family squabble and so on and so forth, and putting aside your ego, you can save relationships, and it can help you achieve a certain amount of respect. But there are a lot of people who've fallen in line, and their egos have ruined their own lives, even with relationships with their grandparents and so on and so forth. So hell with them. They're going to die that way, and life will teach them what they need to teach them at that point. You just smile knowingly, because there are so many people that still love you, and who knows. But whenever you can, this is number 3, forgive people and yourself. You know, I realize that some people are hurt, and some people have hurt you to the core of your heart, and it's nearly impossible to forgive them. But think for a second, and you will understand that you're not forgiving these people is making you think of the situation even more, and is eating you up from the inside. So you're wasting a lot of your good energy. So try to forgive others and yourself for the things of the past, and start living the present moment to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve: wealth, peace, happiness, love, and so on and so forth. Because there's so many people that need you now. Those guys, well, whatever they choose to do, let them go. You know, and that's because we're all human, including yours truly. Human, very, very human. We make mistakes, and we sometimes forget along the way as well. And so we need to sometimes recognize our humanity, and at the same time not think that even though we try to be godlike in our behavior, that we won't always succeed. And recognizing that, allow yourself to make more and more mistakes, because that's how we learn. The other thing we need to do, number 4 on the list, is after you have implemented these ways to achieve spiritual enlightenment with 3 steps I just gave you just now, when I mentioned it previously, the next step is to embrace all of your fears. Never allow your fears to grip you and hold you back from doing something that you always wanted to do. One of the main differences between spiritually enlightened people and ordinary folks on this earth is that they never let their fears control their life. The fear is there. It is real. It's not that they are not afraid of such things as risk or failures or condemnation and so on and so forth. It's that they develop the strength to embrace the dread of it. And some situations are quite dreadful, but you have to face them. And the more you face them, the more you begin to realize that you have this courage. Where does that courage come from? That's the 5th step. The courage comes from meditation. The courage comes from allowing yourself the ability to connect with that part of your consciousness that is separate from you. The part of your consciousness that can only be touched, achieved, gained, communicated with through meditation. It's an ancient and widely practiced way of spiritual enlightenment. And the whole purpose of meditation is to help you get rid of external noise, so that you can concentrate on your real being, who you are, what you are, your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, your psychic body, if you will, your spiritual body. See, when you get rid of that external noise, you begin to hear more clearly your inner voice. And though there are different kinds of meditation, and some of them may or may not require physical strength, the goal of all of these things, including yoga and mantra chanting and all of that, is to help you achieve a certain state of discipline, which leads to serenity. So, for example, when you're sitting and meditating, it's one of the most widely practiced forms of meditation. Sitting meditation leads you directly to that last stage of spiritual enlightenment. The focus of this type of meditation is the sitting posture, of the person. Instead of concentration and thoughts, you're just allowing yourself to just stay in that position and focus on your breath. And you just sit in this particular position and keep your mind free from any ideas, any thoughts, and just observe if they do come, the thoughts or the emotions, and just let it go. Now, another way that people achieve, hold on. Let me welcome Josephine and Dobrin and who else has come on? That's it. Dobrin has a question. Some people says that all the COVID is very well prepared movie with fake dead people that should change our reality. What do you think about that, and what do you think about such movie for collective mind should produce? Well, this is what I'm saying, Dobrin, that it seems as if there is a higher intelligence that's guiding everything that has happened. Forget a decade, everything that's happened in the last 5 years. You have so many teachers going around, so many gurus teaching you how to do this and how to do that. You have so many fake gurus who are also teaching you crap and all kinds of stuff and are doing the opposite of what they tell you to do. Then you have people that go on pilgrimages and prayers. Well, that's a good thing, actually, if you do that. Jacqueline, hello, nice to see you too. So let me finish my idea, and then let me address the idea that this is all some kind of movie designed to. There's so many conspiracy-minded people around, and they like this kind of thing. This gets them high to talk about stuff, sit over coffee and discuss stuff. But if you want to be spiritual, you want to be enlightened to a degree, you begin to see how everything ties together. You don't have the answers on any one subject or two subjects or three subjects. You have a clear idea of where it's headed and what it's doing. It's kind of like a karmic river flowing downstream. The more you fight against it, the more tired you become. But if you learn to flow with it and know where it's flowing, then you will never drown until you reach the open sea. And isn't that what all enlightenment is all about, to reach the open sea? So understand that through religion, you get certain benefits. And with spirituality, you get more benefits. And they're two different concepts that do not depend on each other, just to let you know. Because both of them help you to understand things through a different and compelling perspective. And every religion has a particular method of prayer, and they expect the believers to make certain pilgrimages here and do some prayers here and so on and so forth. And prayer is like a physical meditation in that it helps you to achieve serenity and to experience a connection with the soul of nature, or in religious terminology, the soul of God, if you will. Pilgrimages are much like traveling experiences where you meet different people. They build up a collective point of view, and they help you relax and calm down and achieve peace of mind, body, and soul, because you feel that you've achieved a certain thing that allows you to grow to a certain different level. So, which leads us to the seventh idea. Detach yourself from worldly things. See, once you become honest with yourself and you kill your ego, you will find yourself very much less attached to worldly things. You will find yourself in more calm and peaceful situations instead of a constant pursuit of material things, collecting money, collecting cars, collecting houses. Detachment doesn't mean leave everything aside to live in solidarity, but really to not being dependent on material things. So there's a fine line. We walk this practical monk idea. Aloofness for material things makes you kind and down to earth. You don't value things. You know, there's so many posters going around, and people pass these posters. The things that are important are not things, they are people. Well, don't just say it. Live it. Feel it. Think it. If you want to, do what my mother does, which is basically learn yoga. She does yoga from a chair. So do all the spiritual masters that I'm familiar with and are friends with. Different yoga centers are everywhere. They help you practice yoga, achieve mental freshness and calmness. And yoga is similar to meditation and helps you to get rid of external noise so you can listen to your inner voice and concentrate your thoughts on the central point of yourself. And also at the same time, if you're not struggling with disease and all of that, as a result of practicing yoga, you find that your lymphatic fluids start to flow a little bit more. And so as a result, you start to stay healthier, your immune system is boosted, and so on and so forth, and you will achieve closer to the reality of quelling the physical, emotional, mental noise in your head. What some people are doing, which is a method, but being done under supervision right now, is to achieve enlightenment using psychedelics. You have people like Joe Rogan who use DMT and started to talk about DMT. You have Timothy Leary from Harvard University, the professor who became a spiritual teacher and so on and so forth after experimenting with LSD, lysergic acid, and a few other things. And through consumption of these psychedelics like ayahuasca, mushrooms, marijuana, so it's taboo in certain cultures and societies. So don't start screaming at me right now, but because these drugs have been a source to achieve spiritual enlightenment throughout human history in certain cultures. And these drugs have a different kind of effect on your brain, such as mushrooms, for instance, and LSD can induce mental, visual hallucinations, while marijuana can actually calm yourself and give you a sense of time dilation. You have all the time in the world, so you don't feel so anxious and anxiety-ridden and so on and so forth. So people might feel the side effects and fear them, and an overdose of the psychedelics are a reality in some cases as well, and the side effects are yet to be determined. But you have to consume a huge amount of this stuff to be able to overdose, just to let you know. So there is something also about entheogenic use of this cannabis plant for medical reasons and everything else. So if you go through all of these ideas that I've just given you about spiritual enlightenment, you start to create this miracle consciousness. You start to become a little bit more positive and loving. And so at the same time, you would, because you feel the connectedness to people and you are everyone, you will start to feel like you want people to experience miracles for themselves and for their own lives as well. Because if you're authentic and you're real, and you are egoless to that level, then you begin to realize that you stand for a cause. You serve, understand this, you serve, but you are not a servant. And the minute you begin to realize that you serve humanity, but you are the servant of one who is much greater than you can ever imagine. The minute you can imagine that divinity, then it is no longer the divine. It is your conception of the divine. So you pray for people. You want them to have extraordinary happiness in their lives. You want them to relate to the world with kindness, with equality and everything else. You have to understand that you have to give people a chance to be themselves. Why can I not see the screen? Oh, there you are. So, Keegan, Dave Asprey talks about microdosing. Yes, Dave deals with a lot of stuff. Again, under supervision by doctors. Psychologists and psychiatrists have been using microdoses of LSD for helping people get through emotional states that they couldn't get through before, and to access resource states that allows them to, what shall I say, forgive, to work through a block in their life as well. I met Dave. We shared the stage once a while ago at A-Fest, and he's a good friend of mine. He lives in Nanaimo, actually, just about 100 miles north of Victoria, which is on Vancouver Island. And he's the guy who created the bulletproof coffee regime and so on and so forth. And he's been using something that he talked about, and my brother was pointing it out to me, and that helps you to think a lot faster and to be able to, for me at least, to come up with billions of ideas that I never had before. And modafinil, let me write it down so that you have a spelling of it. You need it by prescription, except unless, of course, modafinil. There we go. You need it by prescription in some countries, and unless you're in Bulgaria, in which case you don't need a prescription. Yes, nootropics, a lot of nootropics other than modafinil, and that's one of the safer. I use one of that and something else in combination. And when I take one in the morning when I have a lot of work to do, I will not stop until 8, 9, 10 hours down the road. And then all these thoughts are flowing and I'm finishing a lot of my work and a lot of the writing as well. So at some point you have to give yourself a little bit of a break so your brain stabilizes and gets to that level where you begin to become a little bit more piracetam, P-I-R-A. Yeah, racetams are also very useful. And again, surprisingly cheap in Bulgaria. Modafinil in the United States, 1 month supply is approximately $400. But in Bulgaria, it's $30 for 1 month supply. And such a big difference, I know, because there aren't any. And if you know some pharmacists who own their own pharmacy, it also helps. And piracetams are dirt cheap as well. None whatsoever. I found out that when I get off of it after being on it for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because I'm actually creating a lot of content and material, I end up sleeping quite a lot. It just allows my brain to just slow down, gear down a little bit. But I love the creative process. I love the writing and the drawing and coming up with. I actually used it once to create what is called cybernetic blockchains, and I know nothing about coding and so on and so forth. But I understood that it could be done, and so I've licensed it. So anyway, most of the things I'm doing with the Dr. Melville Foundation are based on inventions that I created or finished that other people started, like Nikola Tesla. And so as a result, began to realize that a lot of these inventions by Tesla and everything else were communicated by sources that you and I would have difficulty in understanding right now about how they work and so on and so forth. He had a different mindset. To him, money was not that important. So you begin to realize he wanted to really serve humanity and to give people free electricity and everything else. You see, he understood the one thing that leads to a greater spiritual experience in life and makes you also very, very happy as a human being when you realize this one truth, that the world that you see holds nothing that you want. And if you start to subscribe to the fact that we live in a holographic universe, then it can be easy to forget day to day that the world we see holds nothing that we want. It's all too easy to slip back into this mindset of, I should do this, or I should do that, or we should be doing this now. We should be saving this, or we should be building this, and so on and so forth, or how much we should be making in terms of money, or where we should be living and what we should be doing. Should. And then you begin to realize that today, if you start to remind yourself that this visible world around you, the world that we see, is something that you're going to leave behind when you die. Now, most people don't want to think about that because it's very uncomfortable. But the minute you think about it, the minute you embrace death, you start to live. The more you push death away, the more you don't want to see it, the less you live. And you will not embrace the next day. So I embraced death a long time ago. I know that any day I could be dead. Any day, any moment. And so I love and celebrate every day. I love and celebrate my ability to serve the ones I love, the ones I want to serve. I love reminding myself every day that this world, holds nothing that I want. And once you do this, then you can invite yourself to begin exploring and opening up your hearts, your eyes, your mind to the invisible world around you. And that's what the third eye thing is all about. How the F do you sit in one place, rooted in the earth and all of its ways, and say, "I want my third eye open"? It's ludicrous. You know, this whole universe of co-creation is waiting to guide you if you will let go of the fact that what you see is real. And the whole universe is waiting to take you by the hand. Literally guides like you cannot believe. And they're all part of your internal mental, emotional state. They open doors for you where before there were only walls. And they begin revealing this invisible world to you. And that's what the third eye opening is all about, is to be able to see beyond the visible, see beyond the infrared, to see beyond the ultraviolet, to hear beyond what is the decibels within the reach of your human ears, and go into this spiritual state where you start to hear everything, clairaudience, voyance, to be able to see things. You see, there's an infinite number of spiritual guides, if you can believe it. Powers, they protective animals. I don't even know how to begin to tell you. Benevolent, luminous beings that are interdimensional, and all of this. And they're waiting to help you in any given moment. In the last few days, people are asking, how come you go on to this show only twice a week? Well, because the rest of the time I'm in meditation to connect with interdimensional beings. I'm just actually doing it. Since I'm starting this program with this, which is going on right now, actually, it's a recorded program, but you can go to it later with, it's called Beyond the Paranormal. And I wanted to be able to create a protocol that everybody can use, from Stephen Greer using whatever he uses, to several people working at the Skinwalker Ranch, to be able to go into a thought frame that sends out energies that relate to beings that are not rooted on this earth. So nothing is too big, nothing is too small to ask when you start to connect to these powerhouses and these aligning with the energies. If you think it's for stuff you need on earth, then I'll think again, it's not going to happen. So today you can quiet your mind a little bit more, committing or recommitting to your meditation, your practice, all the things I said to you just now, 1 to 5, 1 to 6, tuning into that inner guidance that's within your heart. And when you have a conversation with the universe today, or the God force, or the one, it's not about begging for things. It's not about saying, give me this, give me that, do this, do that. No. It's about inviting yourself to start conversing like that fellow, what's his name, who wrote a book, Conversations with God, Neil Diamond Walsh, or whatever his name is. But anyway, it's that guy. Everybody can have that experience. It's not a special thing. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have an absolute right to be here. So I commune with the one every day, and my guides every single day, whether it's in my personal, individual, spiritual practice, invention of devices, free energy, desalination plants, what have you. When I'm being of service to others, this is what I'm doing all the time. So in either space, I'm always dancing with these guides and the energies in the universe, and always co-creating with them. And I know that a lot of what I'm creating right now may not seem useful to the world at large until they become reality, or is expressed in reality and is being done. And then everybody goes, holy crap. I wish I was paying more attention to this and helped you a little bit earlier to pursue it. But then again, it's okay. I'm being guided, and if time is correct, then time is correct. And I don't fear anything because I recognize the second thought that you guys must know, that all fear is past and only love exists. And the minute you begin to realize that, then you no longer worry about the things that have already happened. You don't worry about how it can impact your life, because fear can be a showstopper. It's holding us back from so many things. You know, today you can ask yourself, where in my life is fear holding me back? You know, we can feel so locked down and trapped by our fears that pretty soon, you know, our fears are the ones that are in the driver's seat, not us. It's dictating to us who we meet, what we do, where we go, when we should do something, or how and why. You know, what would you be doing right now if fear was not an issue in your life? Anything is possible. So when you start to live like that, life becomes so much more fun. So by the way, do you need a password to access the paranormal? No, you don't. You should be able to watch it on YouTube. I gave the access is on my Facebook page, by the way. And it should be available freely for everyone as well. But if you wow, it says here, YouTube rejected your comment. This is fairly common when sharing a link. You may need to share the link another way. Wow. Okay. So YouTube won't let me do this, to share this link for this StreamYard right now. So let's see if that works. If you would like to be on this show right now to chat with me, please feel free to click on that link in Facebook. Did I have a whole bunch of questions here? Hi, Mel. Sorry I'm late. Oh, we waited for you, Joycelyn. We never started the show, so it's okay. Me too. I know any day I could die. Yes, Jacqueline, any day. And because we know it, we don't live in fear, Jacqueline. Life becomes so meaningful. Every chocolate, every glass of water, everything is gorgeous and beautiful. Everyone you meet is gorgeous and beautiful. But remember, you don't have to meet people you don't like, or you don't have to spend time with people who don't like you, or people who've cut you off for one reason or another. Don't waste your energy or time with them. There's nothing to be gained. Things will not go back to normal. They will not go back to the way they were. So leave it alone. You've got so many wonderful people that want to spend their time with you and who have never forsaken you. So please be with them. Spend more time with them. It'll be so much better. Dobrin says, if there is no good or bad and everything is the same, what about the ego? The big ego is mean. You don't focus of helping people, but focus on yourself. What is the advice for someone with big ego in order to point his ego in good way? If we say there, everything in our life can be used for good. How many questions was that? That's quite a few questions, all rolled up into one. Let me answer one question at a time. Yeah? Let me see if this works. Question one. If there's no good or bad and everything's the same, what about the ego? You have to bring your common sense into this, Dobrin. When applying for the job of something, supervisor, let's say, it helps you to have a certain sense of self, which is what the ego is. So, Mr. Mihailov, Dobrin Mihailov, what makes you think you're a good fit for our company? What makes you think you're a good supervisor? Then at that point, you become like Trump. I am the best supervisor of all supervisors you have ever seen in your entire life. I know supervising like nobody knows supervising. I'm the greatest supervisor of all time, and so on and so forth. Now you would say that, so you get the job. So that's common sense. But when you're meeting somebody less fortunate than you, who has been waiting for promotion all this time, 10 years, and here comes this idiot called Dobrin, who gets the supervisor job just out of the blue. It's not time at that point to just go, yes, I'm a supervisor, and you're not, so on and so forth. No. Your point at that time is not to dominate, but your point is basically to say, look, listen, somewhere along the way to become a supervisor, I had to learn a few tricks. I'm willing to go out for coffee with you every day to be able to teach you how to be a supervisor, how to get that promotion. Would you like that? I'll teach you how to do that, because it's something I learned along the way. And that's serving someone and helping someone. So you're not lording over someone with your big ego and so on and so forth. But you recognize it's a game. It's a game you play. And it's not important whether you are the best supervisor or not. So when you focus on helping people, you want to be able to, sometimes you have to be the best doctor on the planet to be able to help somebody in a situation. You don't want the worst doctor working for you, on you, or a brain surgeon that is no ego. Are you the best brain surgeon in the world to help me, Dr. Dobrin? No, but there are many more people much better than I am. I am lost like a marble in a sea of marbles. There's so many. I am just a tiny little marble with it. Can you close up my head? I'm just walking out of here. Don't touch my brain. So you understand what I mean. Sometimes you have to be able to use common sense, to be able to use ego in a right way, in a good way. Use your position, your authority, use your gifts, your talents. And all of this is simply to serve people, basically. All right? So everything can be used for good. Even your ego can be used for good. But you are the only one that knows that whether your ego suffers as a result of that or not. Cool? Any other questions? If you want to join this stream, please come on board. You have a link right here in StreamYard and also in Facebook, and I can chat with you about this and talk about how we can help you with your situation, especially if you have something real you'd like to discuss but not theoretical. I can also help you as well. Someone asked me here also in a private message, we have a fear of failure, we have a fear of success, fear of not having enough or scarcity. We have a lack of confidence, maybe. Or for some people, it's a fear of not being good enough, or fear of pursuing what you really want to do in life. So fear of leaving a job, or its security to step into your passion or your purpose in life, well, that is also a fear. So the list can go on ad infinitum. And there are names for some of these fears as well. And I know in shamanism, and Ashok can probably concur here, the most ancient spiritual practice is fearlessness. It's the medicine of the West. So sometimes represented by the jaguar, this medicine teaches us to step into our fears and to meet them face to face. To harness this fearlessness is one of the most amazing gifts that you can give yourself, stepping into and embodying what the warrior already knows and is inside of you. So today you can commit to using your fears or taking an inventory of your life and where this is keeping you from fulfilling all your highest destiny and maybe keeping you from even your calling in this world. So then meeting those powerful energies face to face or stepping into them rather than running away from them and transmuting them into fuel for your life. Harness these energies, because fear is an energy, and use this energy to your advantage at any one time. And then you'll notice the difference and recognize when they come, and you'll be able to change that as well. Dobrin has asked another question. How come Dobrin is the only one asking questions? He says, I'm asking that because I'm being taught to know my talents, but to be humble. However, I see all the time how people that say, I do that, I do this, they always succeed, and the humble people that should be promoted, they don't. Exactly. That's the point. Use common sense. When someone says, are you the best one for the job? Well, they listen. People form an impression of you within the first 7 seconds of meeting you. How you dress, how you look, the things you say, and so on and so forth. I remember my first meeting with the first Secretary of China. Now, I'm known to not pay attention to how I dress, because I don't really care what I wear, what I don't wear, what I, so on and so forth. And there are some people in my classes. I remember I ran a $6,000 6-day program. It's called the Master Trainer Certification Program. I was teaching people to become formidable on stage and to write books and all of those kind of things. And one of the women out there, bless her soul, wrote a book about yoga. And she said to me, Mel, for free, I will do this for you. I will dress you up. I said, wow, that's very cool. That means you'll spend the night and then I wake up and you'll dress me. She started laughing. Said, no, my husband will not like that. But she was going to dress me up so that I looked the part. You see, in one of these meetings that I had with the first Secretary of China, I was invited by the president of the Contractors Association of Singapore, something like that, some big hoo-ha, big guy. And he invited me to his house for dinner to meet with the first Secretary of China. And she sat down there and she started talking, and she was doing all the talking. And I just listened. I said, hi, we chat. And the next thing I knew, she asked me what my opinion was about something and why I'm very silent. Then I told her my opinion of that. And I saw her eyes open wide. And I didn't understand that. So she wanted to attend my program, and she did. She attended my program, and she participated. There were a lot of tears because she had to get through a lot of fears to be able to know that on the other side of the fear was everything she wanted. In fact, because of that class, she got promoted and became CEO of one of the largest publishing companies in China right now, and so on and so forth. Well, success stories are everywhere. But she told me in confidence one day, when I met you, I asked myself, who invited this Chu Lao Sai to this dinner party? Chu Lao Sai is pig farmer, because I was dressed like a pig farmer. And she said, the minute you open your mouth, I said, holy crap, this is a really remarkable man. But your first impression was that. So, Dobrin, when you step in and you have that confidence of being the best person for the job because you have done this and done that, there's a way of saying, I'll give you an example. The bad way, the Trump way. See this? This is water. I invented water. Before water, there was nothing, just dry. The whole earth was dry. I invented water. It's the best water. It's because of me, everything lived. That's not correct. That's ego, Here's the correct way to say it so that you stick in people's minds. Now, I want you to see this. Even though I created water, because there was no water before, that's not what I set out to do. This was an accident, an accident that helped humanity. It's one of the 5 different things I've created to help humanity with. But I really wanted people to have better health, better, what else does water give you? Better health, better thinking, better loving, better, whatever, better plants. And that was my what I really wanted to do. I just wanted to tell you that. So there's a humble way of saying it, and there's also not so humble. Common sense, Pete. Dobrin, I can't teach you that. You have to have it. Evelyn says, Dr. Mel, it feels like I need to ask you this now. How did your family start accepting your gift? They haven't. Like you are talking about your spiritual experiences, aliens, and so on, without being skeptic or thinking that you're going crazy, experiencing it now. The more you listen to this program, there's something that I am doing to everybody who's around me or listening to the program. If you do the exercises I tell you to do, the things I told you will happen will happen. You will start to see things, experience things. You will have to go into a different state of mind where you deal with the fear. And let me tell you, kiddo, the things you are seeing, nothing to be fearful about. The fact that you can see is amazing already. And you will start to experience it more, and it will serve you and help you. It will help you because you want to avoid the people that are surrounded by dark things because you don't know how to deal with them yet. And over a period of time, if you want to train with me at some point, I will teach you how to deal with all of this stuff. But for now, to serve your purpose in your sales, I think it was sales that you do, and you can use your gift of your opening. I think your third eye is opening. Is that correct? To be able to tell who is telling you the truth and who is telling you a lie. Whether or not they're going to buy or wasting your time. And then you stop altogether. Or you can go and help somebody. When I say going to buy and wasting your time, they have ulterior motives. They want something else from you, not the product, so on and so forth. But instead, you can now allow your unconscious mind and your clear thinking and clear feeling and clear sight to be able to lead you to where you should be for some reason or another, and try not to get your thinking in the way, and you'll be able to make things happen. Don't second guess. Don't imagine it. I know it's very tough. Don't imagine. Just allow the senses to take over at that point. Okay, I hope it helps you. My family still trying to accept. They don't know what to make of it, so we just smile at each other. They know, they've seen me do one or two things. I can help one or two people, and so I do that. Healing is the only thing I really make public to a lot of people. What I just made public to you is that I'm doing a form of meditation that is trying to draw a connection with interdimensional beings and so on and so forth. And those are going to be quite visible in the sky and everywhere. And if I succeed, then it's something I want to teach you guys. It's for me to teach, to practice myself so that I can get it perfect. And when I do get it perfect, then I can pass it on with no mistakes. Ashok says, fear is not bad. It's actually a trigger for your expansion. Staying constantly in fear is not good as it depletes your resources. True, absolutely. Dobrin gives a thumbs up. Touching back on psychedelics, Keegan says, have you tried any? And if so, what was your experience? Keegan, do you know what country we're in? If you and I were sitting in a coffee shop, I'd be more apt to share some stuff with you. For now, you have to stay mindful and use common sense in how we talk about it. I don't want to be the one to teach people to do this and that unless we are in a more, what shall we say, open community. And then I'll be able to talk to you about the so on and so forth. Although I am writing a book, though, about psychotropics, nootropics, what they're all about. And Dave is one of the contributors to that book as well. So it's a different angle. It's an angle that nobody has thought about. And so I decided to put it together. It's something the world needs. And so it becomes like not a dictionary, what do you call it? Like a reference book, like an encyclopedia, so to speak, so that people can have that reference. Evelyn says, I need to learn more about healing because it's revealed to me that I have that gift. Not just reveal, just go do it. Just do it. Heal plants, because you can heal plants as well. Animals, children, people. Sometimes you don't have to stand in front of somebody and go, whoa, that Chinese drama sort of thing. But instead, just by touching them on the shoulder, holding their hands, even shaking hands, you transmit a lot of the healing energy. And sometimes it comes without touching. Also, it can come with your thoughts, and that's a higher level of healing. And it can even come in your voice and some other way, energy. Now, if you have scarcity consciousness and haven't developed your spiritual consciousness to a level where you are cognizant of the fact that you are limitless. In other words, you can send Alpha Centauri is a closest star system to us. It's a 7 point something light years. It takes about 7 light years to get there. In other words, the distance that light travels in 1 year, and light travels at about 300 kilometers per second, just to let you know. And a year later, 7 years later, you're there. But to be able to send a message to someone on Alpha Centauri, you're not going you're going faster than light, not in terms of tachyon physics, but more in terms of thought. And so the next propulsion systems that are being worked on by people in the know are systems that use consciousness and thought, that take them through wormholes and take them through ways of traveling that will, 20 minutes to Mars and back. That's crazy. So I have to tell you that we are so far behind, 1,000 years behind in technology compared to a lot of civilizations that are out there that have this technology. And that at some point, Nikola Tesla admitted in his memoirs or his reports and writings that most of his ideas and conceptions and motors and everything else came from an extraterrestrial source as well. So it started to give him insights into how things were and so on and so forth. And they were all meant to be free. You make a little bit from it just to be able to survive, buy food, because we all have a bad habit. It's 11 o'clock, and it's good to know. We are now in our final 30 minutes before we close. Usually we close at 11:30. We take 2 hours for the program. I don't know why we keep it at 2 hours, because it's very difficult to speak about all the things we want to speak about without extending the time. So I'm opening the, now that I've said everything that I could possibly say already, I'm opening the lines now to anybody who would like to come and join us. Ashok, Keegan, Dobrin, Evelyn, Joycelyn. There's so many just now. Now we don't have any. We were talking about fear and how fear binds the world. And so somebody asked me a question, I think earlier in the DM, I think it was yesterday or the day before, you asked me how to overcome fear other than the ways in which I specified 2 weeks ago. Forgiveness. Forgiveness gets rid of fear. Forgiveness totally gets rid of fear. You no longer are afraid when you start to do that. Learn to forgive, because it's going to be one of the most powerful things you ever do for yourself. Um, like I said before, there are only two paths, one of fear and one of love. And once you begin to realize that the path of, if you love somebody, look, this extends even into love. And somebody had asked me, how do I love? I love without fear, absolute no fear, which causes a lot of frustration because in my past relationship, because they think I don't care. You don't care. You got to be jealous. You got to be scared about losing me and da. What do you mean, like in a shopping mall, lose you? Like can't find you, so I have to wait for a few days until you start looking for food and then I can find you? So people are upset, and they would rather I be controlling. They would rather I be what's the word? The heck? Not controlling. Possessive. That I'd rather be possessive and so on and so forth. You have to understand that when you begin, and this is something you have to remind yourself very often, when you begin healing, you have to recognize that everybody suffers from the same problem, and there is only one solution. There is really only one solution. The problem is we separated ourselves from love, from this energy of love, and we continue to buy into the energy of fear in all areas of life. We're afraid to lose somebody. We're afraid to not be loved enough. We're afraid, of whatever has happened in the past will repeat itself again, and so on and so forth. I mean, look, let it go. Just let it go. And so when I love unconditionally. That's it. If you love me, that's great. It's a gift. I don't ask for it. But if you do love me, that's great. That's awesome. But what do we do in the meanwhile? Well, in the meanwhile, you have a life. You're living your life. Excuse me. You're doing what you need to do. And I'm doing what I need to do. And we're both saving the planet in our own different way. And so on and so forth. And when we come together, it's even better. So on and so forth. But would I miss you? Not really. At that point, you go into the, because it doesn't sound human anymore. I think somebody said it to me one time when I pretended to be jealous and everything. What the hell? You said you're going to be here. I said, you're not here. What the, I have to play a part. I have to remember some TV movies I saw and so on and so forth. I said, wow, this is great. You sound human now. I said, what, really? Oh my God, that was just a game. I don't feel that way though. I don't. I mean, look, if you want to be with somebody else, that's great. That's good. If that makes you feel better, that's good. That's great. Just, be happy. Wear goggles, if you will, because life can sometimes squirt you in the face and be very difficult. And if you don't want to be together, it's okay as well. It's a perfect freedom to do this and that. Yeah, but what about the future? Yeah, what about that? I don't know what's happening in the future. No clue. But every day that we are spending, we can celebrate life by being free. So on a daily basis, you have to understand that forgiveness is returning to love. And people ask me, then what is your definition of love, Mel Gill? Very, very idiot simple. Love is the absence of fear. If fear exists in your relationship, it's not love. It's something else that a psychologist can help you with. It's a neediness and so on and so forth. So on a daily practice, you can visualize a person or a situation that you want to forgive, and then you can heal them better as well. Because when you forgive someone, you heal yourself, you heal your body. And reminding yourselves that you don't necessarily forgive because the other person deserves to be forgiven, because you can forgive an asshole but they're still an asshole even after that. It's because it's for us. We deserve inner peace. We don't want to waste our time thinking of those 3 bastards, or 4 or 5, whatever you count in your life. Whatever they have done, forgive them, let them go. Whatever they do, forgive them, let them go. Whatever they say, forgive them, let them go. It's very simple, but it's very hard. And the minute you learn that, you learn what my friend Joe Vitale teaches as well. I think it's called the Ho'oponopono, Bomono, whatever. Ho'oponopono. If somebody knows how to pronounce that, please help me. There's a prayer in this. It's a beautiful permission slip, actually, to accept it in this way. It's a simple 4-line prayer which comes from long generations of shamanic teachings. It's simply this: I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Now, don't forget, forgiveness is of the self, yourself as well. We're all doing the best we can at any moment. We are going to fail. We're just going to fail. So don't beat yourself over the head if you find yourself failing to forgive. You can do it tomorrow. You can do it again. You can practice. Be gentle with yourself. Today, make a commitment to yourself. Release fear and return to love. Because forgiveness, my friends, is the key to happiness. You'll be so much happier as well. Okay, both of you. Okay, Keegan, I need you to come on and tell me how to pronounce it. I understand. I wrote it somewhere. Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono. It's a kind of porn. Yeah? Maybe not. So please find the link, get back on. Tell me how to pronounce it, because for the life of me, I'm not saying it correctly. Marlene, thank you so much. I just need to break it down so that I can pronounce it in, like, pretend I'm a 4-year-old and you have to make me pronounce that. Dobrin says, let's not forget, if we are with someone, doesn't matter if we want or not, we get attached to the energy of this person. If you are attached and this person is gone, how will you forget him so quick? Yeah, well, then you learn not to be so attached, huh? Because if the source of your happiness is that person, then you're always going to be up and down. If the source of your happiness is a project, a thing, a job, or a person, and whatever that person feels, you're going to be. Josephine, thank you. So you say Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono. Oh, wow, that's cool. Ho'oponopono. Oh, no, opono. Say it ain't so, Ho'opono. Wow, let's see. Keegan, welcome to the program.
Hello.
How do you pronounce it?
Ho'oponopono. Ho'opono.
Like Marlene says?
Yes.
Or like Josephine says. I mean, Marlene's easier, I think in terms of sets of 3, Ho'oponopono.
Ho'oponopono.
Is that correct?
Ho'oponopono. I think so. I heard this saying a very long time ago.
Yeah. Joe was telling me that when we were doing the
Metasecret?
The Metasecret, we were filming it. And he asked me if I've heard of it. And Lauren says, "O pomo pona, pono,
Pono.
o pomo pono, o pono pono." Yeah, it's the same as Marlene. Okay, good. Man, that's Hawaiian, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's they have like a 26-syllable word sometimes for passwords. Can you imagine trying to get that correct when you're on the island? Excuse me, what's your password? Oh, it's okay, thank you so much. I think I'll go 4G. So how have you been?
Okay. Phase 1 has begun, so not much
Phase
has really
1?
changed. Oh,
In
the
your
circuit breaker.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Today, right?
Yeah, today or yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, yesterday.
Yeah.
So what? Are we allowed to go out now?
It's the same thing. It doesn't seem any different.
It's not different. I thought we are freer
Not
now. We
really.
don't need an excuse.
No, I think like certain shops are open, but restaurants are still shut. Everything's still shut, but certain like
Uh-huh.
beauticians are open, and yeah.
Today I had to get some groceries from my brother. So I was driving around uh, from Chicago. He was here, and Killiney Road. I was going
Oh
up
yeah,
Killiney
yeah.
Road, and he was telling me some of the restaurants there are now permanently closed
Oh
because
yeah.
they've
A lot of
lost so much business
lost
they
money.
couldn't
Yeah,
sustain. And the
yeah,
rentals there are incredible, like $30,000, $40,000 a month. I mean,
because
who does that?
yeah, it's pretty tough.
It is
Very
very
tough,
tough.
especially all those central businesses that are in prime locations
Correct.
and prime real estate.
Correct.
It's very
Correct.
hard. Yeah,
But who
tough
knows?
times.
Yeah,
It's always
Malinka
like
says that um, oh, the Ho'oponopono, I think I said it right that time, has zero limits secret Hawaiian system. Not so secret anymore. But yeah, so that's supposed to help people.
so it's
Jacqueline wants to know if you're in Singapore because I think she wants to go out with you or something. I'm not sure. Let me get you in trouble here.
yes, I am.
That was cool. That was very fast. Freedom from the past, universal wisdom. So, what's your definition of love, sir? All encompassing.
It's very
Everything
hard. I mean, I
included.
think you summed it up very nicely. It's the absence of fear.
Oh,
And,
I thought you gave me a different reason just now. You said it's very hard. Yes,
yes,
you do get very hard when
that's
you
a
have
different
love
type
too
of
as
love.
well. Oh, that's a different kind of love. Okay, sorry. So it's the absence of fear. In your current relationship,
Mm-hmm.
you have the absence of fear?
No, I still have the fear.
Safe to talk about it, or you want me not to?
No,
What are you afraid?
I still have fear.
What are you afraid of?
It's still that same past trauma 20 years ago. The bipolar X.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that has been something that has been the constant in every relationship that I've had from then until now. And it's difficult.
Have you ever seen bipolar bears?
You mean two
really.
polar bears?
No, bipolar bears, like literally polar bears that are attached to, like Siamese twins.
Twins, right? Joined at the hip.
Where would they be? The hip is a good place to join them. Yeah. So
Like Chang-Neng.
bipolar bears would be like that, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, if we conceptualize bipolar bears, can you imagine that? Yeah. No. Just play with me for a second. Did you also know that beneath, we think of polar bears as white, but did you know that their actual skin color, the white is the fur.
Yeah.
The actual skin color is black. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. All polar bears are black inside, all the same. And if it's bipolar, it's joined at the hip with somebody else.
Right.
So there is a polar bear and there's a bipolar bear.
One's going left and one's going right.
And one's going right. But they both belong to the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes when we take a look at people who have extreme bipolarism bears. Yeah. Then you have the bad bear and you have the good bear, but they're joined somehow.
Yeah.
And all of us are kind of like good and bad mixed in one. Sometimes we can't stand it. We lose our cool with some people. We lash out. And sometimes we're very calm with certain people. All depends how much love there is, right? If you love them enough, you can probably tolerate a lot of the nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah, bipolar bears, remember? But if you were the surgeon and you could separate a bipolar bear, which part would you keep?
Of course you would want to keep the good.
Really?
Yeah.
How would you go about mentally doing it now? Just do it.
It's very tough.
Just do it. Just mentally. It's your picture. It's your bear. And they're small enough that you can actually control them. And begin the slicing and then suture them up and separate them and send the other one like miles away.
Wow.
Because the other one is the problem, right?
It's a really small bit of good.
Okay, good. Send it away. Send it to the South Pole. Do that right now, just mentally.
Okay.
And you're left with the good. Would you characterize it as a good polar bear? What would you call it? The one you're left with?
A lot.
A lot?
A lot of vulgarities.
No. I mean, the good one stays with you. The bad one goes away. Like really far away. Can you do it mentally? I'm just doing a small exercise with you.
I'll try. Not I'll try. I'll do it.
Yes. There is no try, says Yoda.
Yes.
Do. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
How would you characterize them? I say good or bad, but you can use a different term.
So you're talking about the dark?
Dark is good. I like that. Darker.
Side? Yeah. The dark side is.
Have you separated? You separated it already? Both the bears? Yeah. Yeah, they're
so
exactly the same. No. Don't describe. Just send. Are they separate though?
Yeah.
Send that one to. Are you in the North Pole, by the way? Or where are you?
I didn't position myself anywhere.
Well, get into position. Not what she said last night, but yeah.
Okay, so I'm in the North Pole.
You are. Okay, send the dark one to the South Pole. Yeah?
Okay.
Got it? You're left with what? You're left with what? What is it good? Is it, if that's dark, this is?
Oh, this must be the good then.
Is it good or light or?
It's
easier.
Yeah, easier.
Easier. Neutral. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so take a look at the bear's face and superimpose your current girlfriend's face on the bear.
Right. Oh, there's no match.
No, but superimpose.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, pretend she doesn't shave. Yeah. Boom.
Sure.
Yeah, there you go. All right, cool. Take a deep breath for a second. Now, just for fun, think about your relationship right now.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a bit less fear?
Yeah.
How did that happen? What we think about, Keegan, on a daily basis, if we focus on what happened before, the past, and all of that, we bring it into the present, which is not fair for her as well, because she's a good bear. She's not totally off the rails. And then if you want to, most relationships men describe their women, women describe their men in the same way. Oh, he's like a bipolar, can't stand it. 1 minute he's this, 1 minute she's that. Have you heard people say this of their
Yeah.
relationships? It's pretty much normal because, when you have people that don't know what they want and don't know what they want to achieve, don't know where they want to be, I want to be happy, but I don't know how, that kind of thing. And you think now about a distant past, which is in the South Pole, which you'll never go to now again, but you'll stay in the North because, North is where the true North is, right? The direction of your life, right? The North Star.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't it around where you are? And
sure.
it doesn't stay static. That's where the northern lights are, the aurora borealis, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful? But it's always changing all the time.
Never seen
No
that
two-
yet. Not yet.
No two shows are the same. And now with the
Iceland.
magnet, you don't have to go so far. You can even go to the southern parts of Canada now.
You can still you can see it from there.
British Columbia, yes, they have descended a little bit more,
Right.
given the current state of the magnetic field of the Earth. It's kind of very interesting. Marlene wants to know about your perspective on being bipolar. What that is.
It's, how do you describe it? Like it's a manic depression to
Mhm.
extreme euphoria within
Mhm.
a switch, and there's no balance. There's no neutral ground. So it's not like talking like this where everything is calm and gentle. It's either in a hyper state of awareness and talking rapidly and extreme,
Mhm.
extremely charismatic.
She's getting help though, right? Now,
I have no idea.
no idea.
I have no idea. I
Just
cut off all ties completely. She came into my life a couple of times, as in meeting her once, meeting her another time. There was one time she came to watch one of the plays I did here and try to surprise me at the end of the show. And I've just never really been comfortable, because I've just taken on a lot of I guess it's a lot of residue of rage and anger and
Memory.
Yeah.
South Polar stuff.
Yeah, all the South Pole stuff. And so I tried different things and different ways to deal with it. And then I realized through whatever study that I've done and
That's
with the help of
possibly
my current with the help of my current girlfriend, is that
wow.
it's almost like I went through a trauma, and it's like PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, without knowing for the last 20 years. And so I've had triggers that have compounded as life progresses, I guess.
Let's try to trigger it a little bit. I guess when they have this expression, things go south. When things go south, that's what they mean. That they go bad. Oh, how was your play? Oh, it just went south. So that's kind of why we put all of our the things we're afraid of in the south. When things go south, we try not to let things go south, like relationships or current relationships, because if they do, well, that's where the source of everything is, right? Yeah. So now, if you see this good bear, you said good bear, lighter bear, so on and so forth, and still has a girlfriend's face on it, or it kind of slipped off a little bit?
No.
Still has. Okay, cuddly and everything. Shrink it down to size. Shrink it down to size a little bit.
This is
Yeah,
this is the X.
the bear. No, current.
Oh, okay.
Because the X is in the south. We're leaving her there. We're
Yeah.
not
Okay.
talking about her anymore. The
Yeah.
current, yeah, shrink her down to about the size of your heart.
Okay.
Manageable, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And with a breath, 1, 2, 3, absorb her into your heart. 1, 2, 3. Take a deep breath in, absorb her into your heart. Boom. Let me ask you again. What's the definition of love? Sorry?
Peace,
Peace.
joy,
A piece of what?
peace of mind.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Joy.
Joy.
Uh-huh. Fear? Is fear anywhere in there?
Possibly.
Is there? You went south, huh?
Don't know. Yeah. It's very
You stayed
strange.
no-
It's
Very
a very
strange,
strange thing because I can put myself into my work and the other things that I do with full force and passion. And yeah, there's always this I guess there's always the fear of well, that everybody goes through breakups and hardships and
Everybody does, yeah.
and that's fine. But
Relationships go
not-
south.
yeah, not everyone goes through. Well, I wouldn't wish it upon anybody because it's
Yeah.
a horrible. It's a horrible thing to go through. To be in a traumatic relationship where,
I've been in a few.
yeah, and I mean, to
I became a therapist. Yeah. You see, there's a difference between being a therapist and being a victim of a relationship. But I don't know if you enjoy being a victim or
no, I don't think
no.
anybody.
You
does,
talk like a victim though.
No.
Yeah, you do. You talk just like a
Possibly.
victim. A poor thing. Feels so sad. It's so traumatized. Poor guy. It's all gone. It's all past, right? So here
Yeah,
we
it
have
is.
a current situation. Very, very wonderful woman. Just being compared to a bear, and so on and so forth. And and when you look at it from a psychotherapy perspective, it's not fair to bring that other whatever that other person did and so on and so forth into this relationship instead of allowing it to be current and fear free and so on and so forth. Otherwise, you're always going to be pained. And you know how you try to keep young, but the pain and the fear shows in the face. It does.
Right.
And you know that fearful face that you have when you, I don't know if this is going to work out or not. It's going to go south. I have no idea. And it's starting to show, Keegan. And so to be able to lose yourself in this girl now, I assume it's a girl. To lose yourself in this girl, right? Not a bear.
Sorry, I shook.
You're still thinking about it, but to be able to lose yourself into her is to be able to give her the gift of treating every experience like a new experience. She's brand new. She doesn't know the other person, does she?
No.
Brand new. And so that's the advantage of being a psychotherapist in any relationship, because I deal with people's past and I push them away, put them where they need to be, in somewhere that doesn't belong to the here and the now. You see her often? Every other day or whatever?
Yeah, right in front of me.
Right in front of you, okay. And is she somewhere where you can just look at her?
Yeah.
Look at her. No, I mean like full on. Just look at her. Don't look at me. Look at her.
Okay.
Okay. Describe her.
Funny,
Mm-hmm.
cute,
Mm-hmm.
cuddly,
Wow. Like a bear.
and very giving, very
Uh-huh.
kind.
Wow. Two more, just for good measure.
Loving and considerate.
Wow. It's amazing. Very cool. Very cool. She's a dog? No. What the heck was that? Come here.
To get attention.
Oh, I see. Like a dog. Holy crap! What was that? Hey,
No,
hey, honey,
no.
get here. Okay. Well, hey, whatever couples do, whatever is comfortable for you guys to do, that's good. Notice that you are so lucky to be in this relationship, to be able to spend time with somebody like that,
Yeah,
and to give you a relief that you never had before, huh?
that's very
So
true.
when you start to get out of this moment, that moment that you just spent a minute, less than a minute, describing
Yeah.
her, you are no longer in the relationship, sir.
Which one?
This one,
Oh.
with her.
Okay. Okay.
You are two-timing her with the other
I see
woman.
what you mean.
Yeah. You're in two relationships at the same time.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
I thought that was already severed, cut,
Yeah.
put away, and to do all of that, so that she deserves your full attention. And forgive you for allowing yourself to be experiencing that. Take your right hand, put it over your heart,
Which side is that?
and your left nipple. Okay, you got it. Okay. And just say this. Your heart beats throughout this whole thing. Your heart has been there, even though that whole maniacal scene unraveled and everything went south. Yeah, it was so difficult.
Yeah.
Say to your heart right now, I forgive. Please forgive me for allowing you to experience all that. Please forgive me for opening you up to those experiences. Forgive me. Thank you for continuing, for breathing, for keeping me alive. Thank you for continuing to beat every day with love, with joy, with happiness. Thank you. And then, as you do this, forgive the other person, the one in the South Pole. Forgive her. Yeah. It's not her fault. Okay, nobody chooses this. But thank her for all the experiences, because it allowed you to become a better person in several ways. Number one, taught you a little bit of patience so that you don't end up in jail for killing anybody. Yeah. Yeah. At the same time, it allowed you to see that there can be better things in the world, and that choice is ultimately yours, isn't it, Keegan? To experience different things. But if you want to experience different things, you got to think different things, don't you? You got to feel different things. So take a deep breath, let go of your hand, and allow yourself to feel good, happy things with this new cuddly bear that's in front of you. Now, I'm talking about her, not Ashok, not me. I'm not built like that. Whatever you and Ashok do in your spare time is your thing. Just send me. No, don't even send me pictures. That'll be good.
Ashok is amazing. Every time I see him, he just has this infectious, positive energy. He's always smiling. He's incredible.
Awesome.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Hey, my pleasure. My absolute pleasure.
From the bottom of my heart.
from the heart of your bottom or anywhere you want also at the same time. But I want you to have more fun, because it's more fun being with somebody who's in the present moment and in the here and the now, rather than somebody who's living in the past. So, and that's a gift you're giving, not just to your girlfriend now, but to your to yourself as well.
Thank you.
I don't know why they say current girlfriend. It's like there's another one coming. Because the only one I said who has ever said current girlfriend has ever been Tesla or you know, the other inventor. What's his name?
Einstein?
No, the Edison.
Thomas Alva
Edison's-
Edison.
Yeah, his current girlfriend was direct, and Tesla's was current girlfriend was alternating.
Yeah.
Alternating current.
Current,
It's
yes.
a bad.
I got it. I got it.
Yeah.
I don't know who else
Alright.
did or didn't get it.
Nobody would get it. It's so
It's quite
stretched.
quite shocking.
There you go. It sends out. This is the spark you need. So-
It's all the light.
Before we go and I'll call it a night.
Yeah. Oh yes.
I'm sorry. I didn't get from you again, and I wasn't paying attention. What is the definition of love again, sir, for you?
Everything in your heart that just explodes into a million shards of light.
You're describing an orgasm. I just wanted to know. What is your definition of love that you can share with everybody?
I think it's the ability to really be able to let go and forgive, but also be grateful and thankful and be open freely with how you feel and who you are and what you want to share with the world.
Awesome. That's a lot. Quite a different definition from when we started this conversation.
I can feel it.
All right. Thank you so much for being in the
Thank
show.
you.
I will be on again tonight. I hope everybody gets a chance to see the whole paranormal interview. It'll be very interesting.
That's right. It's on at
We-
10 o'clock. Oh, well,
Yeah.
I saw it that it was at 10, so
Yeah, we're going to do
Okay.
about eight to 10 interviews and then make it happen. But tomorrow, though, I keep call me.
okay. I'll
Okay,
call you.
after 10, because every time I think of calling you, it becomes very late.
No problem.
Because I'm so involved in the day doing.
I know you've got a lot
Oh,
of stuff. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
understand.
and we have to talk about the program we have to do.
Yes.
I need an entire crew,
Do you need a
director,
do you need
producer. We
studio?
need everything. We are going to be on site. We're going to shoot all outside.
Okay.
If we can, even make
right.
little trips to Bulgaria here and there to be able to make things happen.
Okay. When
Yeah.
soon? Do you hope to shoot soon? Because now all the protocols in Singapore are very, very stringent now with on-set rules, which is part of the phase 2. So there is a lot of nitty-gritty stuff that needs to be done with disinfecting, social distancing's different. Yeah, very, very detailed.
Well, don't worry.
So
I mean,
we can talk about that tomorrow.
We'll take Trump's advice and get everybody to swallow some Dettol, Lysol. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll be okay. Keegan, thank you so much for your help.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Just
Thanks for
be in
being
this
had.
session.
Yes, absolute pleasure.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. So that's Keegan sharing his advice. And Ashok says he loves you, Keegan. Doesn't matter what Mel says. What about the Elon Musk girlfriend's name? I don't know what Elon Musk's girlfriend's name is. I didn't know he had a girlfriend. I thought he had a wife. I'm so far behind on people's relationships. I have no idea. Usually when people have tough lives, they become psychotherapists. Most of the time they speak very motivational for others, but they itself have problem to practice as advice they give to others. Dobrin, you sound like you speak from experience. Thank you so much. as well. Marlene says maybe Keegan to tell us. Oh, we did that already. Can be translated. Malinka says the term, oh my God, the whole Ho'oponopono can be translated as correct a mistake or make it right. It's a practice that does not require much teaching, but is powerful for purifying one's body and getting rid of bad memories or feelings that hold the mind in a negative place. Oh, I got to know more about this. So it could be something that we can talk about. So the next program of Uncommon Sense will be on Friday, 9:30 p.m. Singapore time, and 9:30 a.m. New York time, and 4:30 p.m. Bulgaria time. I said earlier, to know God without being godlike is like trying to swim without entering the water. Because underneath all that we are taught, there is a voice that calls to us beyond what is reasonable. And in listening to that flicker of spirit, we often find ourselves in deep healing. And this is the voice of embodiment, calling us to live our lives. Like sheet music that's being played, or it often speaks to us briefly in moments of deep crisis. Sometimes it's so faint that we mistake its whisper for wind through the leaves. But taking it into the heart of our pain, it can often open the paralysis of our lives. Now, this brings to mind the story of a young divinity student who was stricken with polio. And from somewhere deep within him came an unlikely voice calling him to, of all things, to dance. Told him that it was his calling. So with great difficulty, he quit divinity school and began to dance. Slowly and miraculously, he started to not only regain the use of his legs, but went on to become one of the fathers of modern dance. That's the story of Ted Shawn. And it's compelling for us to realize that studying God did not heal him. Embodying God did. So the fact that Ted Shawn's mistake shows us that dance in all its forms is really theology lived. This leads us all to the inescapable fact of living out what is kept in, of daring to breathe in muscle and bone what we know, and feel and believe again and again and again, regardless of how badly our relationships turn out. We believe again and again and again, no matter how sad things appear and go south. We want to believe in muscle, in bone, in our entire body, over and over again, that anything is possible. Whatever crisis we face, there is this voice of embodiment that speaks beneath our pain ever so quickly. And if we can hear it and believe it, it will show us a way to be reborn. The courage to hear and embody opens up to a startling secret, my friends, that the best chance to be whole is to love whatever gets in the way until it ceases to become an obstacle. To embrace your fear like it's your best friend. To embrace your fate and to love your fate. Amor fati. Your life is a miracle, whether you want to believe in miracles or not. Your body is a miracle, whether you want to believe in miracles or not. And every person you meet is a walking miracle, whether you want to believe it or not. That we are here together, colluding as a race of man, whether we are hungry for love or abundance or health or happiness. The minute you know that you deserve, you receive. To all my brothers who are not white in the United States and beyond, you deserve love. You deserve equality. You deserve to be treated with respect, with kindness. And you deserve happiness. I hope in the next few days, a true leader emerges and brings us all together. I can only pray. Good night, everyone.